There's a lot of buzz about toxins in our food and, well, just about everything. And I'm joined now by toxin expert, Tonya Harris. Now, Tonya, how in the world are we supposed to maneuver around toxins? Because I feel like they're honestly in everything at this point.
Right, and that's such a great question. And I know when I started out on my non-toxic journey that I drove myself and my family crazy because they are in everything, and it's easy to just think, oh, everything's bad for us, so let's not even try. But we really have a lot more control than we think we do. And the other good thing is a lot of companies are paying attention to what we want, and they are changing their formulations. But in the meantime, it's one of the questions I get asked the most is what can we do in our homes that really can have the biggest effect? So I developed, I call it the READ method to make it kind of easy to remember. So it starts with R, so it's R-E-A-D. R stands for replace plastics in the kitchen. So removing anything that we store our leftovers in, so it's anything from food storage containers to even like the reusable water bottles.
Ziploc bags, that kind of thing?
Yeah, but especially things that we put hot food in. Because what happens is when we put hot food in there or we put it through the dishwasher, those chemicals can actually leak into the food and beverage. So I recommend, instead of replacing everything all at once, because if you're like me, you looked at your food storage containers and like, where do I start? Choose your top one or two that you use the most often and replace those with a glass or stainless steel option. Or a safe bet.
And then you said, well, first, so is plastics, are those the biggest offenders for toxins in our lives, you think?
I don't think necessarily that it's plastics. It's a lot of different things.
Right.
But I definitely recommend in the kitchen, it is one of the bigger things too, that we can, it's an easy area in the kitchen where we can reduce our exposure.
Got it. And I mean, Tupperware aren't that expensive compared to some other things maybe.
Right.
And so what's E?
Oh, E is eat organic as often as possible. And that's because these same things work as endocrine disruptors, which disrupt our hormones, which regulate every single function of the body. So we don't want these chemicals coming in that can actually interfere with our hormone processes. So the good news is if you can eat organic as much as possible, the levels in our bodies of those pesticides that are on those foods actually can lower significantly in just as little as 6 days.
It's crazy when you think about what goes into your body. And, well, I guess it's better to say it's crazy to think about what you don't think about that goes into your body and how that affects you.
Exactly. And the kitchen is a great place to start, especially with foods, because that's the foundation. But the great thing is the Environmental Working Group actually has a list of the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, because I know it's not always possible to eat organic as often as possible.
It's not cheap either, that's for sure.
No, so it's a great resource. It's EWG.org is their website. And so if you can buy organic of what's on the Dirty Dozen list, because those are the ones that contain the highest levels of pesticides, do that as often as possible. And then the Clean 15, you don't have to buy organic of every single time. So that helps too.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we've done R, E, A. What's A?
A is avoid artificial fragrance, which was hard for me, I will say.
And that's in everything, not just perfume. It's like dish
candles
soap
too. Yeah, because a lot of people, myself included, used to have the plug-ins and the candles going. I love candles.
That's fair, me too.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But in our personal care products too, because actually the chemical foundation, I can't remember the exact foundation name right now, but they actually list over 3,000 different chemicals that can make up the word fragrance. So when you're seeing one word on the back of a cosmetic bottle or even on your candle, it can be made up of dozens of different formula or chemicals that we don't know exactly what's in there.
And you're just inhaling it. Right,
and we don't know if it's toxic to the brain and nervous system or cause allergic reactions, which some of them are linked to. So it's better just to avoid those. There are some cleaner burning candles, but then when we see it on the back of a cosmetic too, to find something that doesn't include fragrance.
And D, what's the last one?
Dust.
Yeah,
which is a tough one, but I recommend dusting mainly every day as often as you can in areas where you and your family spend the most time, or if you have toddlers where they spend the most time on the floor, because dust is actually a huge exposure to chemicals in our home. Because when we walk in with our shoes on, which is one of the reasons we should take our shoes off, so many things can come in on that. So they found things like flame retardant chemicals, which are hormone disruptors, and phthalates and lead even, which those are things that can lower our children's IQ.
Definitely not something you want to run the risk of. Now, if you want to tell folks, if they want to get in touch with you or learn more about this, how do they do that?
Sure, my website is slightlygreener.com, and then I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, perfect, Tonya, thank you so much. And everybody, now you know how to get in touch with her and also how to get those toxins out of your life.